Ruff Day Resort located at 1085 Gravel Road. The applicant is Amy Holtz, who is requesting sketch plan review associated with the reuse of an existing office building for a dog care, daycare, training, boarding, and grooming facility on a 0.69 acre parcel located in an MC medium intensity commercial district under sections 225.17 and 228.4 of the Code of the Town of Webster.
Yes, sir.
Good evening. My name is Chris Snyder. I'm with Pastoral Associates here presenting with Amy Holtz, the applicant of Ruff Day Resort tonight. So as was said, 1085 Gravel Road is the location, 0.69 acres. The proposed use is a dog daycare with ancillary boarding of dogs. It's considered a kennel use by the zoning code. We did receive a special permit by the town board previously for this application. We're here tonight to present for a sketch or preliminary site plan review. The step after that would be then going to the zoning board and then coming back to this board for final review. The site, the existing building for our office use is about 4,370 square foot building. There's going to be, one of the comments provided was if grading would occur. There's going to be no grading on site or no site disturbance other than new fencing as described in the application. So let's see. The fencing actually is going to be, there's some existing fencing there on the property line to the west, which will be modified. All fencing is going to be 6 feet tall chain link fencing with a mesh screen for privacy on site. Some of the comments provided, there was a comment from community development regarding egress from the basement level. The previous uses of the occupancy under the New York State Building Code, the new use is also the occupancy. So in terms of egress, there's not going to be any new work that will need to be completed in order for the building to be meet health safety requirements of the New York State Building Code. And I think with that, we can address some of the other ones after Amy has a chance to speak. Amy's going to describe a little bit more about the operation of Ruff Day Resort, Ruff Day Resort for dogs.
How are you doing? Good evening. Thank you for hearing us tonight. I think it's important to note that we keep being referred to as a kennel, and I think that makes people see a particular image that is not what we are. So I'm just here tonight to kind of explain to you that Ruff Day Resort is really a home away from home, and it's a place where people who think very highly of their dogs bring their dogs to us because we spoil them. They're not in a kennel, they're not in a chain link concrete run, running up and down, barking, defecating. They're in a place where I run a business because my husband at the time limited the number of dogs that I could have, so I love other people's dogs. Okay, so they come to us, they play all day, they're loved, they're groomed, they're fed. We take pictures of them, whether that be back to school pictures, Christmas pictures, whatever. They play, they go outside just like somebody would at home, and then they go to bed at night. So they're not locked in a cage, they're not running up and down in a chain link fence, they're not barking incessantly. They truly are a home away from home when they're with us. In addition to that, my main profession is I'm a dog trainer. So the dogs that do come to us automatically get some training, but on the side, you know, I'm also encouraging the owners of these dogs to, hey, let's maybe work on this or that to make them a little bit more suitable for home and travel.
Is there someone, oh, I'm sorry, I don't know. Is there someone there at night with them and anybody, is there any?
Currently, we don't have anybody who spends the night, and that is just because the building that we were in, we were told was not zoned for sleeping. We had tried for a short time having staff work overnight, but the work that they were performing was keeping the dogs from sleeping. And then if the staff was there just kind of sitting, they were falling asleep, so we kind of fell into a little conundrum where we have a time between midnight and 6 a.m. that there's nobody in the building other than the alarm system and the cameras.
I was there, I went over and took a look at the building there, it was last week, or the week before, I guess. Yeah, week before. I think you got something pretty decent to use there, it's a nice building and all. But the egress window in the back is a simple egress. And when I'm looking at it, my feeling was, if anything, that should have some steps. You know, bilbo door with steps or something coming out of it. Other than that, I have no issues with it. I spoke with Ron next door, your mechanic at the repair shop.
Yes, I spoke to him as well.
What's that?
I spoke to him as well.
Yeah, and he was fine. He said, I have no issues with it. And if he doesn't have any issues with it, who the heck should? Because he's the closest thing to it there.
And he actually said to me, would you please fix that fence? And I said, whatever
Oh,
you
really?
want, I will put there.
I saw no issues other than that.
Yeah, just the note about the egress, I mentioned to Chris that there's actually another set of stairs that were kind of left out of this equation. So right now, there's two ways to get out of the basement. One is a set of stairs with the doors that goes up to the back, and then also that legal egress.
I would also like to note that under the New York State Building Code, specifically for B occupancies, the travel path for an egress location is a maximum of 75 feet. The kennel area as described on the plans is within that 75 feet from the stairs. So, you know, if the concern is animals being able to get out, it would meet code requirements if those code requirements were extended to animals.
Now, okay, I don't know how that works. So it's the same for animals?
So there are no code requirements under New York State Building Code for animals, but if we're to apply that to animals, sort of how, because I'm understanding the concerns about that, it would meet requirements for both people and animals, if that was the requirement for animals, because the travel path within the area of where the kennel area is within that 75-foot threshold.
All right, that's just, that was my only issue with it, was the egress in the back. Anybody, any questions?
Suites in the basement, those are like the luxury suites where the dogs would spend the night?
Yeah, so our intent is, many times we get a request from a parent for 2 dogs or 3 dogs to stay together.
Okay.
So we're designing basic little studios that will have a couch, a television, and a camera, so that people can look in on their pets when they're there at night.
And so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so there's 5, it doesn't mean you're gonna have 5 dogs, it depends on.
It really just depends on who wants to spend that sweet spot there. There will be regular boarding and care as well, but you know, sometimes when you're leaving 2 or 3 dogs with us, you might as well, you know, get the master suite.
Yep.
I have 2-point question. Number 1, what's the maximum number of dogs you can have at this facility? And number 2, how many employees are you going to employ to watch the dogs?
Well, this is New York State, we're having a little hard time getting people to work, but you know, we hire every day, so, unfortunately, again, just with like the requirements for the legal egress to get dogs outside, dogs are left out of a lot of rules and regulations. The Humane Society of the United States, though, does recommend that you have 1 employee per 15 dogs. That being said, I work with a lot of the other daycares in the area, and unfortunately I have the highest payroll of anybody because I run a ratio of more like 1 employee for 8 dogs. And a lot of that depends on, are we talking about 3 Chihuahuas or 3 Great Danes? So it really, a lot of that can vary. My maximum number of dogs at a peak season would probably be, you know, during the day, 45 dogs, in the evening, closer to 15 to 20. And that sounds like a lot.
With that many dogs around, do you have to do meet special conditions for waste there, or do you keep it on site for a week, or?
Believe it or not, there is a company that comes and picks up dog poop. That's what they do for business. It's called Duty Master. So she's a friend of mine. We've been friends for 20 years, and she will service my business 3 to 5 times a week if I need it.
I guess the egress thing, I was just concerned, is just not the dogs getting out, but if someone was down there to get the dogs out, I want to make sure that they can get out easily.
Well, the building does have a sprinkler system and alarm system, gratefully. But, you know, our employees are always trained to call 911 first because we are not firefighters. Obviously, the doors and the egress would be open to let anybody out, but we're not asking them to run into the flames.
And the drawing, it shows, when your storage area, it shows, you know, like flight of stairs.
Yes.
That's, what, first floor? Yeah, that's the upper level, yeah, first floor, main floor. Okay, then you said there's another set of stairs somewhere also? I only see that one set of stairs.
Yeah, so there's one set of stairs that goes from the first level down to the basement, and then that egress is about halfway down the same back of the building.
No, you said there were 2 flights of stairs, right?
One flight of stairs, one egress.
Oh, yeah, well, that's what I was saying. The egress is the only other way.
Yeah.
So if the dogs are in the basement, they gotta come up those stairs. There's no way you can get them out through the back. They never come out the egress window. That's why I was suggesting, you know, a set of stairs out the back, you know?
I honestly, when I looked at the egress, I didn't see an issue with myself getting out of there, but, you know, maybe I
Well,
need to
no, I
look at it.
agree. That's what the egress window is for.
Yeah.
For human, you know, exit.
I would think the dogs would be able to get out of that easier than a human.
No. It's down 5 feet. They're gonna jump in a small hole, can't get it.
Massive jailbreak.
So I just want to point out again, if you look at the last page in the application that shows the lower level, all of the animal areas are within 75 feet of the exit area, stairwell. So anything beyond that is really offices and storage. And that's kind of intentional to make sure that where all the animals and most of the people would be are closest to the egress points.
I guess if you're comfortable with it and it meets the law and everybody's all right with that, that's okay. That's the only thing I saw there when I walked around the building is like, should be somewhere to get out of here. Anything that size ordinarily has an exit coming out.
Well, and as Amy noted, it is sprinkler, so that's up to code as well. So there's sort of 2 measures there.
Anybody have any other issues?
No, I think it's a cool business.
You need several variances, I guess, aren't you? For setbacks. The fence is gonna need variance. What else is gonna need variances there, other than fencing and use?
No, not use, but,
They got that from town board?
well, yes, they're seeking a special use permit from the town board, but the variances would be for lot area and then the side setbacks relating to the fencing.
All right. Anybody? Jared, Jen?
I'm okay.
You guys okay with it?
This is a sketch plan?
Yeah, just sketch plan, that's all it is. All right, I guess we'll go to the zoning board and get through that, and we'll see you then.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, good luck.